All right, guys. Welcome to another special training, guys. It's going to be, what is it, Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, guys. I'm actually in Dubai right now, so it's 5 a.m. And just so you guys know, this is not pre-recorded. I always like to show that it's real. It's 5 a.m. right now, or 5:08 p.m., 5:08 a.m. for me in Dubai right now, because we're actually doing some expansion, so it's going to be pretty cool, guys, all right? So with that being said, today is going to be an actual special training. I'm super excited. And here's the reason why. I wanted to go over some basic breakdowns on how to build this business. And then the other thing is I want to announce something at the end that you get to take advantage of. But essentially, if you're here, you've discovered this type of business. So you probably realize like, hey, who's this guy on the internet taking a selfie with this device I've seen before, but I haven't seen it. And how do I take advantage? How do I build this business myself? Maybe build it with us. It doesn't matter, but we're going to go over all of that today, right? So if you're excited and you're actually watching this live, so you know it's live because it's YouTube, I want you to comment live below. Comment live. And if you're watching the replay, because we're going to post this, I think 2 days from now, January 1st, comment replay. The reason why is going to have questions. You're going to get some answers in here and you're going to forget, but you'll get to tag yourself. So as people comment questions, you literally benefit from it 6 days later. So it's actually pretty cool because I'll get comments like 4 weeks later. I've had one like 6 months later. And it's like, hey, what was the question you had here? And somebody that watched it a year prior freaking commented also, guys, right? So while we're doing that, I'm just see you guys' comments, make sure we are live. You can see this. Yolanda Carter, 63 days of prayer. So you guys know this is legit. You're seeing literally your comments right here. Recovery Experts USA, nice. Live, John, Joe, etc. No sound. That was just a second ago. Badass, guys, badass. And if it's no sound, you got to refresh. It's YouTube, guys. It should be loading for you, right? So for today specifically, we're going to go over some pretty cool things. What I'm going to do is actually pull up a share screen right over here. So let me just make sure. And just so you know, it's legitimate. Like I am just, I stay up at like, it's like 5 a.m. right now. So let me just do this. Let's say, you know, I'm drinking the Costa coffee. I'm not sponsored whatsoever, but as we expand internationally, what I found is there's different time zones and you really just have to make it happen. All right. So for today's training, it's actually gonna be pretty cool. Took a little while. We were breaking this down, a little technical difficulties, but we make it happen. All right. So what we're going to go over is basically what I call a set it and forget it digital payment system. Right. This is a digital payment business. Right. And just to be clear, we're talking about payments like you actually pay at businesses for services. And we're going to go over the basics. We're going to go over a few different scaling secrets that I like to cover, a few breakdowns, go over our process, what we do specifically, what's proven to work over the course of years, and also how you can take advantage on your own or with us, doesn't matter, but essentially how you're going to be successful today. So if you're excited and you're like, hey man, let's just show me the money, right? It's like Toby McGraw, just show me the money. What I want you to do is comment start below, comment start. Here's the reason why. Number one, we're going to break down the basics. This is a pretty interactive training. So if you plan to just, drive somewhere and just listen in like it's a podcast and press replay, it is what it is. So the only person that's exception is if you're on a Stairmaster right now, make sure you focus, right? Even if you're driving and highway patrol pulls you over, it is what it is. I'll make sure they don't give you a ticket, right? So before we actually start, what I want to do is go over something that's pretty important in business, but essentially it's a thought process that you want to have whenever you're scaling your business. It doesn't matter what it is, but essentially you need to have this. And what I like to talk about is what I call speed, okay? And if you've heard any entrepreneur that's been decently successful, meaning that they have a lot of team members, maybe international locations, they say the exact same thing. It's all about speed. It's about speed in decisions. It's about speed in business specifically. And the reason why is you realize you'll get outpaced. And I'll give you an example. Think of it this way. Right now, we all use Apple, right? We all use Apple products. It is what it is, even if you have Android ones. But essentially, there was one really big cell phone company back in the day that was the most popular, and they were called Nokia. And there was a famous quote that the actual CEO said. He said, hey, we did nothing wrong and we still lost. And the reason I say this is because things can change in an instant, and that's what's happening in this industry specifically. So it comes down to speed. You need to have speed in business because you will be outpaced very quickly. The other thing is you got to have speed and be able to pivot. And this is a scary topic sometimes, but essentially the way you want to think about this is very simple. Sometimes things aren't working and you got to make a change. It is what it is. It's uncomfortable. You get frustrated. You build so much for the thing you're doing, but it's time to make a change to be successful. So I want to introduce you to entrepreneur number one, right? This is person number one, persona number one, but this is what we call entrepreneur number one. And this is what we call the thinker. Okay. And so the thinker, you guys all know this person. It's usually the cousin, it's the family member, it's that coworker that always has a great idea, right? And if you know somebody, comment me below, comment me. And if it's not somebody you know, it's probably going to be you right now. I'm just kidding. So typically, this person is going to be pretty deliberate, right? And what I mean by that is they usually always need time for these decisions. So essentially, they say, oh, you know what? I want to think about it. They want to second guess everything. They usually second guess their self. And it's every single time. The other thing is they're usually second guessing others. So you can give them the information. You could literally be a police officer and say the speed limit's 65, and guess what? Like, no, I don't think so, man. You're like, well, it's right here. It says 65. So the other thing is they're typically pretty distrustful, right? So they're skeptical of information, skeptical of data, just everything around them is like everyone's out to get them. And they usually let time go by. And the reason is because ultimately, again, they have to think through these decisions more so than the average person or yourself or even myself. So the what usually ends up happening is days turn into weeks. Weeks end up turning into months. And these are for decisions. But when they finally take action, finally they're like, all right, it's ready to rock, let's do it. They're extremely confident. They'll tell everybody, and you literally cannot convince them otherwise. And it doesn't matter if they're wrong or not, you literally can't convince them otherwise because usually what happens with this archetype is the ego kicks in. So let's talk about the opposites. This is what I like to call entrepreneur number two, which is the action taker. And I know this vividly, guys, just so you know, because I was both. I'm telling you right now, my ego was through the freaking roof sometimes, and I was the brokest as can be. And you're probably wondering, like, what are you talking? I was like, I had to realize one day, I was like, something's wrong. How am I right, but I'm not rich? This makes no sense. And this is where version number two kicked in. So this person specifically, they usually act quickly. And I'm not saying that they're being irrational. Okay. I just want to be absolutely clear. It's not emotional decisions, but they know that there needs to be some type of urgency. They usually attempt to interpret the data very quickly. So they say, all right, this is what I have available to me, at least right now. I'm going to make a decision based on that. So they always move with speed. That is the key word here: speed, 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 speed. So when you usually operate this way, things tend to break. It is what it is, right? You make mistakes, we adjust, etc. But the thing is this: that person never looks in the rear view. They just keep going forward. Instead, what they're doing is they decide, hey, I'm going to look in the side view mirror. And you're probably wondering what the difference is, but essentially it's super simple. On one side, you're saying, oh man, I made this mistake, that mistake, that mistake. You start turning into that thinker. The other person's like, hey, it is what it is. We're going to keep going because we're going to make it happen. That's where the confidence gets built, right? So the thing is, they're focused more on the direction of where they're going, which is what I call that side view mirror, like I mentioned, not the rear view, which is the past. Because if you're always focused on the past, you're just not going to be successful. You guys know these people. They're always saying, oh, you made that mistake, this or that. They're usually at the locker room talk or that coffee room talk at the break room. And you're like, man, I got to get away from these people. And it doesn't matter if you invest at a Fortune 500 company, if you work at private equity, you know the type of person I'm talking about. It's all the same, from law enforcement to the military to some high-end investment firms. So the whole idea is this: the action itself is not just, this is the way I can break it down simply, right? It's not more of a thought of if they're going to take action, which is the thinker. It's more, hey, I'm just going to take repetitive action instead of being very like consultative and thinking about it. And the way you want to think about this is we're not doing a binary yes or no, like should I do it? Because then you get stuck in the should zone, right? And you've been in these situations, you're just analysis paralysis. Instead, you're like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to take action. I'm going to make mistakes and I'm going to learn along the way. So when this comes down to it with this type of person, usually that action, it only takes hours. It's not days, right? You're just like, I'm just going to go with quick speed with what I do, and I'm just going to figure it out. And I know I'm going to make mistakes. And the difference between these two types of people is actually really simple. On one side, you have the person who's thinking through it, taking their time, etc. And then you have the other side where it's the person making a lot of mistakes. And guess what happens? Well, they start having issues. So let me ask you this. Who do you think is typically more successful, right, between these two? In general, of course, there's exceptions. Is it going to be the thinker, or is it going to be the actual action taker? I want to get your opinion, right? This is interactive. I really want to know. This is going to be really interesting to see the answers. It's probably going to be a 50-50 split, but I'm interested to see what you guys say over here. I'll give you like 10 seconds because there's usually a 30-second delay, guys, for the video and audio. So I can't see your comments for about 30 seconds. So let me pull these up. Start, action, action. Okay, cool. So more than likely, a lot of business owners here. Yeah, baseball and so yeah. So if you're in baseball, it's literally stealing bases all the time. Cool. So for the most part, we're getting pretty much a consensus, which is the action taker. Yeah, I'm seeing action, action, Yolanda, Joe, action. Yeah, for sure. So when it comes down to it, it's usually the action taker. And here's the reason why. So it's really, really simple. Essentially, that person is able to take 2 to 3 times more action in the exact same period as the thinker. That's it. They're not special. Think of that plumber that you know that has like 15 people under them. You're like, man, this guy's not the smartest cookie. And no offense to them. I was in the Marines, guys. There's a reason where our explosives said point this way because there's like, make it simple. Essentially, they're like, let's just go. Let's get this done. Let's make it happen. So day one, they're usually having 3 times as much action as the thinker. Day two, 6 times as much because we're exponentially increasing. Day three, 9 times, 12 times. You start seeing so on, so on, so on, that they're rapidly progressing. So the other person, that thinker, day one, you're usually thinking about it, right? They want to sleep on it. You've heard that person. I want to sleep on it. And I've been that person. I'm telling you, I wanted to sleep on every decision. But when you're in law enforcement and you have a life and death in a second, all of a sudden you got to make a decision. Then from there, day two is usually analysis, right? It's like, hey, let's break down situations, data, etc. Then there's the comparison phase where you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to compare. I'm going to compare this with that, with this and that. It's almost like you're buying a charger, like a $4 charging cable, and you're comparing it with 66 brands. You're looking at all the reviews. That's usually what happens. And then from day four, they're usually asking around, which is that review section. Like I mentioned, like, oh, well, what do you think? What do you think? And they're taking in other people's opinion, which is literally just baggage. You never do that in business because they waste your time, right? From there, they usually reset and then they start the game plan all over again. So in that same time, the thinker has taken 10 times less action and has less momentum, less progress than the action taker. But I want to be absolutely clear here, guys. I'm not saying be emotional. Do not be irrational. Do not make stupid decisions in business, right? I was in the profession of stupid decisions. I'll put it that way. Some of the stuff you see, you're like, why would you do that? However, you have to understand this, right? Success favors speed. This is the one liner that I heard, and it was just game changer for me. Success favors speed. Every entrepreneur, right? The successful ones, guys, not the one with the Instagram bio that says entrepreneur and they've only made $1. No hate, but let's just be realistic. We're not listening to those people. They say that. In addition to that, you got to remember this. The US incentivizes you to take quote unquote risk, right? And what I mean by that is super simple. You have to ask yourself, what is risk? Really, risk is just making mistakes and adjusting. That's it. But when you think about that, what's really the definition? It's just growing. That's it. Every single success story, every single one that you're talking about, like the real success stories that you admire, whatever that business owner is, the entrepreneur, etc. Every major business owner, they say the same thing. Literally, I had to fail. And I say this personally. I can tell you, man, you can look up some LLCs in San Francisco. I owned a store and I just failed, but it led to things 5 years later. And the difference is this: you fail very quickly. You pick yourself up. It's the same thing you say to kids. It's the same motivational advice you hear in sports. Get up and make it happen and keep adjusting. So the question you have to ask yourself is this: will 2025 be my year? That's it. Is 2025 going to be my year? Or are you going to allow the thinking to slow you down? The thinking, maybe I got the vacation, I got the travel, I got the holidays, etc. There's always going to be something new, guys. I'm telling you right now. And literally, when you think things can't get worse, boom, you get slapped by reality and something else happens to you. And it is what it is, right? But if it's going to be your year to actually take action, meaning that you only have 48 hours to actually do something, I want you to comment action below. Comment action. And the reason why is because ultimately, hold yourself accountable. Do not wait for a New Year's resolution. That is some stuff that you're taught when you're 6 years old to be hopeful for. Stop. Take action, and just you'll never have the new year start over again because you're having so much massive action, you'll start having success too, right? So with that being said, guys, super excited. Let's break this down. This is what I call the 2026 digital payment revolution, right? So don't be notifying like the CIA. Don't be notifying Maduro in Venezuela, man. We're not doing a revolution like that, guys, but it's pretty close. We're going to start talking about payments, right? It's a little more exciting. So first of all, you probably ask yourself, like, who's this dude, man? This Indian, black, white looking dude, whatever, talking about he's in Dubai. So my name's Gennam Tekla. I'm founder of Dividend Shift, right? And so I am what I like to call blue collar to eight-figure entrepreneur or blue collar to business, right? Because literally I wore blue collars. The only difference was in the Marines, it was green at the time, right? So the difference is this. It took a lot of losses to get here. So I had I'm going to break this down actually in probably like a few minutes, a storefront that I owned in San Francisco that did not work out whatsoever. It was a terrible idea. However, it's what led to 10 years down the road where we're at right now. So the thing is this, turned 18, knew I wasn't, Bay Area, California, knew I was not going to do the traditional route, go to college, all that good stuff. So decided to join the United States Marine Corps. So if you're in the military or you're a veteran, shout out to your service. But after that, left the Marine Corps and realized there's no transferable skills. You learn how to shoot an M16A4. You learn, the attributes of a, belt-fed machine gun. You're like, that's not transferable to real life, right? So eventually ended up into dead-end jobs. At that point, somehow, some way, this is always how it starts, guys. You end up in a little debt. You do a little swipe here, swipe here. Fast forward a little while later, over $75,000 in credit card debt. And you're probably wondering, like, how do you get into that bad of a situation back then? No idea. But if you pay that minimum payment, they will continue to give you more of a noose to hang yourself on. So we got to a point where I said, you know what? I'm literally in a downward spiral. Nothing's going to get better. So the extreme version of me said, you know what? I'm cutting the lease. I'm doing this. Cut ties. Started living in my car for a few months. So at this point, I'm thinking, man, wow, really went from, serving in the military to being in this position. So you're probably thinking, like, what the heck at this point? So I thought things can't get worse until I met a cop. All right. Now, here's the thing, guys. This isn't a story like I ran from the cops, jumped over fences and all that good stuff, because you're probably wondering how I got into law enforcement. Instead, it was just a random interaction. It's like the spotlight was on that person. It was almost like I had to speak to them, like a CNN interview. And so I chat with them. I was like, hey, man, what's a profession like, et cetera, because I'd never explored this. And so eventually we started chatting. We started talking about things. And at this point, he's like, hey, man, why don't you become a cop? And to me, it's one of those conversations like, yeah, right, man. Yeah, that's like you telling me to go to the NASA. Like, I'm really going to fly into space. So the thing is this, it stuck with me. So you fast forward a few months later, nothing's changed. And some of you guys have been at that point. Maybe it was October and you're like, okay, cool. Or maybe it's June and you're like, at the end of the year, I'm going to accomplish this. Now it's December and you're like, what the heck happened? But that line finally hit me. And I figured, you know what? Why not? That's not the thought in my head, but the thought was, fuck it, right? Because in business, sometimes you realize the best decisions and the best outcomes are literally proportional to how many times you say fuck it. Just being realistic. And it's not PG-13, guys. So you fast forward a little bit, applied to a lot of police departments, ended up getting hired in Oakland, California, guys. And if you know this city, it's a very fun place. I'll put it that way. Very exciting. You're going to get your adrenaline rush. You definitely don't need any coffee. And some of you guys understand this, right? So $90K a year salary, things were all good. You're thinking, awesome, badass, happily ever after. Well, got to a point where I basically lost my job, right? And you're probably thinking, like, how'd you drop this opportunity, man? Like, you of all people. But here's the thing. You start making some bad choices. And I had another opportunity, right? I'll put it this way, got a second chance. And here's the lesson of this. Ultimately, timing is everything. I'm just being very realistic here. I've had so many failures that I realized that, you know what? Those all led to the outcomes that we're at right now. And it's the same thing for you. You can be 50 years old, 80 years old. It doesn't matter. But eventually you're like, oh, man, holy crap. That one thing that the person said to me 30 years ago really paid off right now. So I decided to start all over. Brand new police academy. You got to do 6.5 months over there just to get started. It's like starting school all over again, right? Embarrassing, lose confidence, all that good stuff. But when it comes down to it, here's the thing. I know one of you has been in this spot where you just have to start over. It could just be a bad relationship. It could be a bad business partnership. Maybe you're like, hey, this just ain't for me. I got to quit my job. But you realize it's time to start over. Nothing crazy. But you're like, I just really need to make a new choice. What I want you to do is comment timing below. Comment timing. If you've been in that spot where you're like, you know what? Yeah, now's the time to actually make a change. Because let's be realistic. You have to be accountable to yourself. Sometimes you realize it's time to pivot. It is what it is. You can have $2, $3, $4, $5 million in liquid assets. And you're like, you know what? I'm really on a path of destruction. I really need to adjust my trajectory. So you fast forward a bit, end up a full-time cop in Oakland, California. You see my smiling face over there. I'm kidding. But you realize, being in such a violent city, it's probably not somewhere you want to stay. So decided, hey, I'm going to focus on action, 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 action. I don't know what I'm going to do. I literally have no plan. I've never touched an iPad in my life, but I just know that if I work hard, I'll get somewhere. So I just started working harder, 90 something hours a week, every single day, saving up every single penny, literally living in a basement in the hood. If you want to look at a basement, look at that picture, guys. You're going to realize, like, holy crap, man, I was as cheap as can be until the best day happened. And that's when my net worth hit zero, right? And I bring this up for a reason because you're like, zero, but ultimately I owed no money. It wasn't negative anymore. I literally was just break even. And here's the best part. You realize is, oh, it's all house money now at this point. Eventually, every single dollar I can invest past my expenses into different investments. So I didn't change anything. Continue to work, continue to live in the hood. And this is what typically ends up happening at this stage. You realize you have one little break and you're like, okay, I don't want to break anything. I'm going to continue in this direction. But now I know there needs to be a change. So at this point, I knew that 9 to 5 just wasn't enough anymore, because you realize, like, wait a second. Okay, cool. So I've used this to get to the next level, this next plateau, this next chapter. But what can I do next to really catapult to this? And I realized that I just don't want to work for 40 years. I don't see this to be in the direction we're going to make. So started investing into different things. This is what I call the season of learning, because I started learning the hard way of the mistakes I was going to make. Started investing to a few different businesses. You see a few different options here. I had Amazon FBA back. This is like 12 years ago, guys. So obviously different than what it is now, less saturated. Turo, so basically, car rental business, owned properties. Invested into this day trading course, which is a terrible idea because obviously I'm not a day trader. And so a few different things, guys, and things were not working around. And then I eventually lost a little over $50,000 in a business deal, opened a store in San Francisco, California. It was bad timing right before COVID. Things just didn't work out, guys. So I say this because I was on the verge of quitting again. It's like, you know what? This whole entrepreneurship thing is just not for me. But there's a lesson in this. Eventually, you have to understand this. You can't be afraid to pivot. And you notice I keep saying the same thing. And I'm not saying you go to your wife, you go to your husband, like, babe, we're selling everything and we're moving. I'm not talking about that. What I'm referring to is saying, you know what? We're going this way and we really shouldn't be going this way. Let's just change direction a little bit. It's uncomfortable. It's scary, but we're just going to make a slight azimuth change, as we say in the military. We're just going to plot new coordinates and we're going to go the same direction, just a different way. How many of you guys have been in a similar situation? You're at this point where, like, nothing seems to work. And it may not be extreme, but it may be like, man, we're really repeating the same things. What ends up happening is you get hit with the rule of three. And I talked about this, a few minutes ago, and I said this. All of a sudden you have an issue. And the next thing that happens is, boom, issue number 2, issue number 3, issue number 4. We call it the rules of 3, meaning that everything bad that happens, or everything that occurs, as Murphy says, everything that can occur will occur, happens in threes. You just don't get hit with one. And that's a business joke where you trade the 9 to 5, meaning 9 p.m. to 5 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. to 95 hours a week in business, and just explosions, right? But essentially, ultimately, you have more control of your life, a little more stress, but you enjoy it. So what ends up happening is, again, you get hit with multiple things. But the lesson is this. Your motivation alone is not going to save you. And this is not a motivational speech. I don't even believe in that crap. I believe in just taking straight action, being successful. But essentially, you have to understand that you have to have a mission, because you're going to wake up some days. You will wake up some days and like, screw this. You go traveling, you get sick, you have family members, everything hits you, and you realize, man, I don't know what I'm doing this. You take a step back and say, oh yeah, my wife, my mom, my dog, my Lamborghini, whatever it is, but you have to mission. So if you're clear on what your mission is, you're like, you know what? I know exactly what it is. Do not tell me what it is. Do not tell anybody. But what I want you to do is comment mission. That is between you, yourself, and you. I literally, just so you know, had a switch. I literally have a journal, guys. I'm not going to show you the pages, but I carry a journal with me across all the continents, because you have to have a mission that you're focused on. It's the only way you go through the adversity, right? So at this point, here's the thing. You start entering into what we call the season of earning, right? Because you go through a few mistakes. These are really good mistakes to learn, but you get to this. So when I say you enter the season of earning, super simple. Start investing into other things. I realized, you know what? This isn't going to work. And the pivotal point was this. Quick little story. Driving patrol, Oakland Hills, right? If you guys know, there's a big contrast. You have the hood, the flatlands, which is like, houses that are like $300,000 and people that die. And then you have the hills, which are tech executives from San Francisco that paid $3, $5, $9, $10 million for their home. Completely different environment. Driving up, see this guy, super relaxed, got the blonde hair, relaxing, got the quarter zip. I'm just like, man, what's going on, man? So I pull over, have a quick conversation. It's like, hey, man, it's a weekday. It's like 11 a.m. It was around like noon. What are you doing? Because obviously you're not working like tech. So yeah, just simple businesses. I have boring businesses. I'm thinking, like, boring businesses, what the heck is that? That's probably one of the first times I heard that. Nowadays it's the craze, right? But essentially he's like, yeah, I just have like a laundromat, got this, I have a parking lot, etc. And I just kept investing. I kept investing into more of these. He had a check cashing spot too, which is like, you would never use check cashing. He's like, but other people do. And it had this actual pivotal mindset that happened. And I realized, you know what? Number one, I don't need to do the business that I'm talking about. Who cares? As long as there's people that want to. Like if you own a Taco Bell franchise, you're probably not eating chalupas, but there's a lot of people that do. And the other thing is just focus on boring things that don't go out of style. Sell the pickaxes, sell the shovels while everyone else is focusing on the hype. So all I did was focus on these things. I started scaling up a few different businesses. And I said, you know what? I want to focus on things that don't require my time and don't require multiple repetitive efforts on this. Think of a few different crypto opportunities I invested in. This is back in 2015. So you can imagine Bitcoin was at like $6,000 or something when I was investing. When I just started, it was, four figures. So you realize very quickly like things popped up. But the thing was this, we always focus on minimal time involvement. This is the most important thing because when it comes down to it, let's be realistic. I'm not lazy, but I do like to be lazy in business and I focus on efficiency. And that's when this real shift happened. I was like, I'm not looking to make the next software company. It just doesn't make sense for me. I don't care, but I am looking to make as much cash flow as possible. So I just focus on the same thing over and over. Ignore the white noise, all the grit, rich, quick environments, all the exciting things you see on social media. And I literally just focus on cash flow. You fast forward a few years later, and I say a few years, it was literally just under a decade. It wasn't overnight, but essentially was able to quit a $200K a year police career just because of residuals that I actually created. I helped scale two other companies, 8 figures, started talking about multi-million dollars a month. And then from there, helped thousands build boring businesses across the board. You've probably seen some smiling faces across some of the machines you've interacted with in the past that I got charged at. A lot of my clients have actually deployed those things. And now here's the best part. This is why I get so excited because as you can tell, I'm a freaking crypto geek. I love crypto, right? I used to have an afro by the time I learned about it, right? It's all gone because of all the ups and downs. But essentially, what we've done is created the only digital payment business for entrepreneurs. And you're probably wondering, like, what the heck and how does that even matter? But essentially, here's the thing. Ultimately, your actions today, tonight, will literally begin your next chapter. It doesn't matter if you work with us, work on your own. I don't care. But essentially, what you do today will end up being the next chapter of your business. So if you're ready for the season of earning, meaning like, hey, you're past the learning, you made enough mistakes, what I want you to do is comment earn below. Comment earn. And when it comes down to it, it comes down to accountability because I'm only here to work with action takers. Whether you work with us or not, I'm telling you, I only want to work with action takers because you ask serious questions. It's much more engaging. It's much more fun, right? So let's talk about startup on easy mode. And when I say this, guys, I'm not saying be lazy. I'm not saying this is get rich quick, but I am saying we can simplify the things that we need to do to be successful with this, right? But first, let's get on the same page, right? Quick, like 3 true and false questions because I just want your opinion. That's it. True or false, right? Because I ask this sometimes and I get crazy answers. This business model that we're talking about exists everywhere. True or false? Comment true if you think it does, where it is digital payment processing. False if you think it doesn't. And I just want to get a quick poll. I'm going to break this down in about the next 30 seconds, but just quick, real trick, true or false, what do you think? Let's see. I see some trues. True, false. Kenny Wicker 6023, true. Whenever I see these 4-digit codes, guys, I always think of either military, veteran ID, or law enforcement, like your serial number. So I'm always thinking, like, do I know you? Or did I serve with you? Right? So false, etc. All right. Answer is going to be false. Does not exist everywhere, guys. In fact, I'm going to ask you about how many businesses have you been to that accept crypto payments? And you're probably going to answer on like one hand, and you realize, oh crap, that's an opportunity. So next question is, are there people waiting to pay with crypto? Are there? Or is it just like, oh, this is some fad, some BS online? True or false? What do you think? Are there people out there that actually want to pay in crypto? I have a quick question. I just really am interested to see what the idea is, right? So with that being said, let's see what we got over here. I see a few trues. False. All right, let's see. Yep. Okay, cool. So mostly true. Very few. Mocha 0. Okay, cool. I like the, it's opinion. Answer is going to be true. So I would challenge you to Google this after. Steak and Shake is a great example. So basically, they posted about this and they like broke all the limiting beliefs in crypto. And I actually have a study. If you want to copy, just copy study below, comment study. Maybe you're into that. I'm a geek. I used to love Wikipedia before we, got very formatted. But essentially, Steak and Shake, burger chain, they're based in the Midwest, etc. Two businesses. They open two franchise locations, right? Location number one, crypto payments. Location number two, no crypto payments. Location number one, 15% more revenue. Location number two, static. Think about that for a second. So basic numbers, $100,000 means $15,000 more. $200,000, $30,000 or more a month starting. So there are people out there that are willing to pay for some beef tallow French fries with crypto. And if I show you some other stats, you're like, there's no way. But it's also like, why are there check cashing businesses out there? Then you start realizing like, oh, that makes sense. I don't need $255 as a cash advance, but there are a lot of people that do, unfortunately. And that's just the game. So one of the last questions I got. This requires tens of thousands of dollars to start. True or false? Simple. True or false, tens of thousands. If you're commenting study, you'll need to just email me also, because I'm realizing your YouTube names are a little different. So your YouTube name is probably not your real name. So email me, because you probably got an email invite for this, and I'll personally send you a copy. I found this out one of the last trainings I did. I was like, oh crap, Princess Diana 461. Who is that? I don't know how to send her this guide. So make sure you send me an email after, and I'll personally send you one, or text you too. So true or false, takes tens of thousands of dollars to start. False, true, etc. Awesome. False, it does not. Want to start on your own, typically a few $1,000s, start with us. We have different options also, but essentially it does not take tens of thousands of dollars to start this business. And one of the last questions, some of the biggest companies out are doing this right now. True or false? This always, any person in the elevator, coffee shop I talk to, this throws them off, right? True or false? Some of the biggest companies are doing this already. True or false, guys? This is really interesting. I like your guys' answers, because I think something and it's completely different. It always blows my mind every single time, right? So true or false, some of the biggest companies are doing this. What's up, Tim? Stripe is, yes, Stripe is a company. I'm literally I'm gonna show something. This guy's cheating, man. Checking out my my PowerPoint slides. So true, badass. Usually what ends up happening is when you're interested in this, you're smart enough to actually do some research, and then you start, it's like when you start looking for a blue car, all of a sudden you see blue cars everywhere. It's, you're primed to look for it. You start seeing opportunities. So true, some of the big companies are doing this. The thing is that there's a massive opportunity in the local businesses, right? And then the next question is going to be what? This is already saturated. True or false? Very simple. Do you think this is saturated already? Meaning that, like, hey, you just said the big companies are doing it. There's no opportunity for me, no opportunity for Getum, etc. True or false? Give you guys a second. It's going to be false. Big opportunity. I like that. False. It is not saturated whatsoever, guys, which is the craziest thing. You would think 2025, crypto's been around for over a decade now, but it's a timing thing. It's a timing thing, right? So false unless ATM merges. Yeah, that's actually a really good comment. I want to pull this up for a second, guys. False unless ATM merges to do so. So what this person's referring to is crypto ATMs, right? Like you go to a business, they have like this 400, literally it's 400-pound machines, because I deployed these. They won't merge, because what's the likelihood somebody goes there to pay? It's just not going to happen. So they're great opportunity, but they're different than this specifically, right? So speaking of which, let's break down exactly how this works, right? So essentially the way you want to think about it is like this, right? You have devices placed like this, right? Literally something simple. You see me right here. You see, that's how you know it's live. And you place them at businesses. That customer is literally just going to decide to pay in crypto, right? Obviously, there's marketing and all that good stuff, but essentially they decide that. They choose what crypto they're going to pay in. Really simple. From there, that merchant's going to enter an amount, kind of like if you're paying with a credit card. And after that, the customer just scans a QR code. So if you've ever done any crypto transaction, it's simple. Just scan a QR code, and that's it. So the merchant's actually going to receive the cash equivalent. And the reason why this is such a big deal is because, again, merchants don't care about crypto. They're just like, hey, man, Apple Pay, money comes in, credit card, money comes in, check, money comes in, whatever, right? Show me the money. It's the same thing with this. You can be a geek, they just don't care. Now, the thing is this, you're going to earn a percentage off of each transaction. That's literally the business model. Are there different things you can do? Yes. but let's keep things as simple as possible. So as you partner with more and more and more businesses, the ones that you haven't seen doing this yet, you start seeing how this opportunity expands. It's very simple. It's a scalable model. It's literally what one of the biggest companies in the world are doing. You start looking at Emirates Airlines, Dallas Cowboys, all the big companies and all the big organizations are starting to do this for a reason. And let's be realistic. We're not the smartest. I'm not the smartest, but I do know some of these big companies hire people to think for these decisions for them. So you ask yourself this, like, why does this even matter? Why does this matter to me, Ganem? Well, here's the thing. We're just stealing the exact same strategy banks do, and we're copying it. And this is a $100 billion industry. It's about, I think, 147 billion as of 2024. So obviously worth more now. But thinking like this, every business gets charged fees for credit card processing, the traditional payments. It could be the customer, it could be the business, combination, it doesn't matter. There is money moving around and there's a percentage. It's an established business industry that makes a lot of money. There's a reason why it's very cutthroat. But there's the shift happening. Some of you guys already alluded to this. Essentially, you have major companies. You got Square, you got Stripe, you have Coinbase, you have well, I don't know if they announced this yet, but Chase. You have a lot of these big companies focusing on this for a reason. Why? Because you start talking about, hey, this is a $140 billion industry. No one does this. Whoa, even if we just do 1% of that, that's over $1.4 billion. So you start realizing, like, all of a sudden, whoa, this is a great opportunity. So the thing you have to ask yourself is, again, why does this matter? Well, essentially, the federal government is investing into this. They're incentivizing you to do this. They're introducing bills to not pay capital gains, to pay your cryptos and taxes and all this good stuff for a reason. People are just lining themselves up to be successful. And the other thing is less than 10% of the businesses even do this, which is absolutely bonkers. It blows my mind to this day, but hey, I don't care. I take advantage of opportunities. But the problem is this. You're probably wondering the same thing, like, what's the problem? How do I come in here? Merchants are unaware. Go to any business around you and ask them, like, hey, why don't you accept crypto payments? They're probably going to say, I didn't know. I didn't know this was available. I didn't know people are paying. I don't know this or that, because they just don't know any better yet. So they are going to remember when you had that first conversation, and 6 months from now, somebody else comes in like, hey, I'm ready to sign you up. They're like, all right, cool. I actually spoke to somebody. December of 2025, this random chick came in. And she started talking about crypto payments. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then all of a sudden it turns into the next Apple Pay. So this turns into a massive opportunity for you. That's it. It's super simple. So I want to break down exactly how this business works. But before we start, I have one final question for you. How many businesses have you been to that have been doing this? Just comment the number. That's it. Comment the numero. Numero uno, dos, tres, cuatro, whatever. Did you see 100 businesses? Did you see 3? Whatever number that is. I just have a quick poll just to see what we got over here. So seeing 0, Kenny saying 3, Devin saying 0. What's up? Tim, 0, John, Caribsy, 0, etc. Okay, cool. So the question you got to ask yourself is this: why did that even stand out to you? Why? Why did that even stand out to you? Well, essentially, it's because of this. It's extremely rare. It's a great opportunity for you because you realize, wait a second, nobody's actually doing this, right? So let's break down the beginner steps, right? So the first thing is this, guys, when it comes down to beginner steps to starting this business, and that's on your own, guys. If you want to work with us, I'll break that down, but this is just to do it on your own. So make sure you take some notes. Essentially, you're going to have your business in your bank account. Super simple. What you're going to do, form your business entity. If you're in Canada, provincial or federal corporation. If you're in the US, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, nonprofit, maybe it's for a church, which is another opportunity for this. But essentially, you're going to form your business. And then from there, we want to form our business bank account. Now, I bring this up for a reason, but ultimately, if you understand the tax code, you realize December 31st is one of the most important days of the year. You know why? It's the last day we can write things off. Breakdown example. Let's just say you pay $10,000 for a car for your business. You write off $10,000. You've made $100,000 income. Your tax rate is 30%. You literally keep $3,000 in your pocket. Instead of paying $10,000 to Uncle Sam, now you've only paid $7,000. You kept $3,000. What would you do with that money? So you have to ask yourself is this: would you rather pay that money to Uncle Sam, or would you rather reinvest it into your future self? I don't know about you. I think I already paid too much in taxes, so I'm not trying to pay an extra penny more. It is what it is. No politics involved whatsoever, but I just like to keep some more of my money in my bank account. So the way you want to think about this is super simple. Just account for initial expenses. So I broke down you being at least a few $1,000s to start this business. Well, again, before December or before January 1st, it's a write-off for this year. So you're just pushing back the actual taxes. And this is not tax advice, but if you've been involved in any business entity, you understand like, wait a second. Yeah, you're right. Literally only have a day to decide if I want to do it within this year, right? So from there, we want to account for the initial expenses. And then from there, you also want to determine, hey, am I going to focus more on sweat equity, meaning that I'm going to invest less into, outsourcing portions of this and do more on my own? It's a, real estate term. Or am I going to say, you know what? I look for more of a hands-off approach, and then I'm going to do that instead. Essentially, I always opt for the latter now just because I've learned in business so long that I'd rather just have other people do it for me and pay them really well because it makes more sense. But essentially, you determine that. From there, what you do is you identify a payment processor. Super simple. The way you want to think about this is as you're working with these companies that will accept crypto payments, you will decide, hey, you know what? I want to make sure that you actually offer and you accept different types of crypto because Square does this, but they only do Bitcoin. And that's kind of like saying I only accept American Express. It doesn't really make much sense. So you have to think to yourself, okay, cool. If I'm going to do this, I got to make sure that I need to have a lot of options for people from all walks of life to be able to pay. You might have the XRP army, the Ethereum guys, whatever. It doesn't matter, but you need to have multiple accepted payments. And then from there, you want to make sure it's simple. Some of the ones that I've seen in Europe, and Dubai, it's not as often, but in Europe, you require you got to sign up, you got to do this and that. You got to think to yourself, if you're in a store, what's the likelihood you're going to do that? So the process for a customer has to be extremely simple, like stupid simple. Grandma needs to be able to do it. So you make sure the actual company you work with does that also. And then from there, this is a big one. This is like the Achilles heel people don't know about. You need to have flexible offers. I can't tell you how many people have messaged me on Instagram. If I pull up my Instagram, it's crazy. You'd see it like, holy crap, Adam, you're not lying. There's like 600 unread messages. And people say, oh, well, this and that. It's like, well, work with any other company. But essentially, if you want to work with a business, there's no customization. So if you talk to merchant A and you're like, hey, Mohammed or Abdul or Chris or whatever, he's like, I have this situation. And you're like, I can't help you. I literally have my hands are tied. Would you rather be in that boat or in the boat of saying, okay, cool. This is what you need to do. All right, let's customize the situation for you. From being in the traditional payment space, securing thousands of locations, I've realized that I'd rather be in that space because anything can happen. And if you're flexible with a business owner, you're able to have them refer you other business in the future too. It's a small detail breakdown, but it's something you don't want to forget. From there, you need to make sure there's great support. Wow, this is I had this message from this guy earlier this evening, right? Technically, it's like 5:50 a.m. for me, but earlier, like, oh man, I've worked with these companies and they do this. And I was like, hey man, why weren't you successful? It's like, well, they didn't support me. Like, exactly. That's why we have this process. I'm like, yeah, you're right. So it's the same thing with this. What ends up happening is they'll just throw you to the wolves. They'll say, oh, yeah. Here you go. Here's a form. Here's some paperwork. Get out there and be somebody, buddy. It's like the Marine Corps, right? Go to boot camp. You'll be successful. And so some fail and most succeed. Well, in the business, it's the exact same thing. So you have to understand that also is you need to have support. You need to have some frameworks. You need to have some breakdowns, exactly what you need to do to be successful with this too. At that point, what needs to happen is you need to start finding local businesses to work with. So, this question's come up a lot. So how many guys would want a guide, like a simple breakdown that says, hey, do this, a simple checklist. I want you to comment guide if you want a guide on exactly what this looks like, right? So with that, and again, please text me or send me an email if your YouTube name is different, or I'll comment below and you can send me a message. But what I like to do is focus on target. Well, I mean, realistically, I say focus, but I want to target low-hanging fruit. So the reason I say this is because ultimately the riches are in the niches. All right. So when I say this, what I mean is this. The most money's made is if you just focus on one type, right? I do dental offices, barbershops, et cetera, whatever, because you get so specialized. It's like a open heart surgeon, right? They get paid the most. However, the low hanging fruits are where it's at first, meaning that what do we want to do? We want to target retail stores, right? These are businesses that are right in front of you. You go there all the time. You start looking at specialty stores. So think of places that sell maybe high-end furniture, interior design, different things like that. Then you start looking at restaurants because, again, lots of volume. You look at Steak and Shake, 15% increase in revenue for the same location or same store sales. Come on, this is a great opportunity. Then from there, you start looking at places like smoke shops. Why? Because at the end of the day, they get screwed over by traditional payments. If you're in the space, you know this. And they always, I won't say always, but they always have the business owner available because they're only one call away, as like Chingy used to say. So then what you want to do is typically pass the fee on to the customer. And this is probably a sticking point I get a question from all the time. But the way you want to think about it is like this: super simple. When it comes down to it, it's the easiest way to sign up the business. Why? Because nobody wants to pay fees. That business owner's like, oh, I don't know, man. 2%, 1%. Can you do 0.01 or whatever? And it's just this back and forth, which you don't want. So the way you want to think about this is you can approach them and say, there's no fees. And the customer's used to paying it anyway. If you've been in Miami or anywhere else, there's a 10 to 20% service fee. After that, you start signing up your first few locations. And again, I'm making this very simple for you. That's when we focus on scaling. This is huge because at the end of the day, let's be realistic. You're not in here to just make $1 a month. You're in here to actually scale this business, make it passive, make it residual income, and then maybe exit out in a little while. So let's cover what I like to call the 5K a month location strategy, right? Just to be clear, it's not a get rich quick. I have to say this multiple times because it really annoys the hell out of me. Because some people, I want to make 300K a month, man. I'm like, okay, good luck with that, man. Maybe somewhere else. Because let's just be realistic. This is something that you have to build up. It's a business, but it doesn't require the headaches. It doesn't require employees. It doesn't require customers. It doesn't require a lot of the things that other business owners stress with, right? And if you do need a recap of this, because again, I'm going to post this probably, I think, January 1st, if I get edited and posted. Comment recap below, just because you might have some questions too. So step one, super, super simple. I'm going to break this down step by step. Is going to be, we focus on simple businesses first, right? Again, I mentioned those. I made that list also, but we focus on the ones that we can easily, low-hanging fruit, grab them and start to get momentum. From there, what we're going to do is niche down. So think about it like this, right? I actually have a great example. Gold exchanges, right? And this was like a secret because you're live. We're going to edit this out, by the way. Think of these places where you go there and you can actually buy physical gold, physical silver. I'm not talking about like jewelry and stuff. I'm talking like coins, right? So they rarely, like unless you know them for like 5 years, accept credit cards for a reason because they get screwed. They pay $2,500 for something and they sell it to you for $2,700. So if you do a chargeback, holy moly, now they're out $5,400. So you realize it decimates them. That $200 profit requires 10 more sales minimum to break even. So you start realizing why they don't do that. So literally, this is an example of a business you can target. But the reason I say this is, again, the riches are in the niches. You niche down. So if you're like, hey, you know what? I'm just going to focus on these businesses while everyone else is doing everything. Like Toast, for example, all they do is focus on the restaurants. Like we don't care about anything else. We just want the restaurants to love us. Then you're able to scale very quickly. From there, what we want to do is build referrals. So when I say referrals, it's super simple. You want to have people reaching out to you. And the way you're able to do that is actually partner with different people. So different bankers that are going to refer people to you. You're going to have different business owners that know other businesses. You want to incentivize them to actually do that. From there, we always want to take advantage of our brand. So I got a question for you. I want you to name one brand that you like. It could be anything, right? If you're a Justin Bieber fan, Bieber Fever, I want you to comment Bieber Fever, right? Somebody who's watching this knows what I'm talking about. But I just want you to name one brand that you like. Just one. That's it. Just one. Let me see what you're not. So the reason I say this is because at the end of the day, it wasn't overnight. We got Roca. It's an example. I thought I was going to say Nokia, right? So it wasn't overnight. And the reason that's important, I'm not saying you want to do this for 25 more years. Let's be realistic. But when it comes down to it, it led to you buying. Ultimately, the brand itself is what led you to buy. Think of these brands, especially with personal brands now. You have Mr. Beast burgers, whatever. All these brands that you're used to that are getting you to actually buy because of them themselves. So we want to eventually expand to that. We cover that. But essentially, you start realizing, oh, this is a really good advantage. And then the secret method, like the main one that is probably a quick needle mover for you right now, like speed, don't need to do any work, is going to be referrals. And so the referrals themselves are pretty big. And here's the reason why. Money talks. You guys ever seen that movie? Was it Jerry Maguire with Tom Cruise and whatever? He's like, show me the money. Show me the money, right? That's literally what we're talking about here. You can actually refer over businesses. This is like a secret method some people talk about. I'm putting it right in front of you on YouTube. But essentially, all you're doing is getting different people to refer. Merchants, they know other people. Bankers, they know other people. A little incentive will go pretty far, right? So that's referrals. Then the other thing is what I like to call the online secret. All right. It's right in front of you, but it's the online secret. Think about like paying for YouTube Premium, you pay online, right? It's what we call e-commerce. But essentially, you're able to get people to reach out to you. So The way you do that is actually pretty simple, right? Think of it like this, right? The same method you found this. It might have been a post. You might have seen me like, hey, are you sick and tired of like, I don't know, whatever ad it was the media team did. But essentially, business owners scroll on the same social media that you do also. So think about it from their perspective. It's 11 p.m. They're closing out the store and they see a post from you saying, hey, like, why aren't you accepting crypto payments? All of a sudden, you can start signing up random accounts. I'm telling you right now, the amount of people that reach out about just doing this for their business is bonkers. I'll tell them, hey, do you want to build this as a business? Like, nope. I'm happy with my movie theater in Oklahoma. Like, really? Like, yeah. Can you just sign me up? I'm happy with my jewelry store in New York. I'm happy with this or that. And they just want to sign up. I'm in charge of the Chamber of Commerce. I have 15 businesses that I can refer over. Sign me up first so I can see you first. I have an event space. So you start realizing why this is such a great opportunity, but essentially you want to be able to be seen online for people to sign up. That usually involves a website, involves some type of brand online. Trust me, I hate social media. Literally, I despise it. I was just with my dad, 84 years old, and I was like deleting all the apps. I was like, Dad, you should not be on social media. It's a waste of your time. He's like, but aren't you? I was like, hey, do as I say, not as I do. Okay. All right. So eventually, the thing is this: no one talks about this, but you're gonna get some of the best accounts online because they randomly reach out to you, and you have no idea where they came from, but they saw a post, they saw another merchant who was doing this, they looked you up online, and then you pop up, and we show you how to do this. So in summary, the way you want to think about it is like this: you want to simplify your process. That's it. To build this up and to get up to these numbers, it's nothing as crazy as you think. Some of these more complex businesses where you have to make these complicated, thumbnails and this and that, and you may have to make a virtual model or whatever. It's just so much work. And I failed at these, not because I wouldn't succeed now, but at the time I just did not have time. So that's why we like to focus on things that you can simplify, literally follow a process that you can delegate, and then you want to build systems. After you're able to build systems, which aren't anything crazy, it's like, hey, do this, do this, do this, do this. That's systems right there. Then we focus on scaling specifically. So in recap, if you do want a location list that has about, let's say 15, I think it's 15 businesses, and I gave you one today, so I make that 16. Comment location below. Comment location. It's a list you can use a target, get it from us, get it from somebody else, doesn't matter, but essentially you will break it down. So from there, let's talk about autopilot, right? Setting your business on autopilot, right? And I'm going to preface this, and it's going to sound counterintuitive, but sometimes passive is a myth. Don't let people lie to you like, hey, it's passive, whatever. No, there's still something involved, unless you're like invested into a stock and that's it. You forgot about it. But eventually there's something, but what we want to do is make it as semi-passive as possible for people to actually want to make it the least amount of time that's necessary, right? So to do this, there's a few principles that I like to follow, okay? And these are business principles that'll help you scale. You can bookmark this. You just commented, so you'll see this later when somebody comments. Some big business guys will be like, oh, crap, right? So with that being said, number one is this is long-term. It's a long-term business. Do not, I'm going to shake you. I'm grabbing your neck right now, right? This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I hate this. It's like, dude, go somewhere else. Start some Amazon store. Work with the 15-year-old that's shirtless on Instagram. Well, I don't know what to tell you. But ultimately, this is a long-term business, but it's sustainable, it's consistent, and you're focusing on the future, which is some of the best moves that you can do. And the other thing you got to remember is time is more valuable than money. This is something I had to realize because I was a cheap person. I'm not gonna let you. I didn't want to tip. I didn't want to do anything, and I didn't want to spend one extra dollar. But then I realized, all right, yeah, I bought this place in Dubai, right? And I'm like, oh, I could buy the sofa cheaper. I can get the TV cheaper. I could do it myself. Then I thought to myself, I was like, all right, I got to convert dirhams to US dollars. I got to figure out how to ship it. I got to do this. There's a time zone. This, like, it's not worth my time. My time is worth more than the money. So I happily paid the interior designer who has 600 5-star reviews more, even though the sofa is like $300 cheaper, because it's not worth my time. You assemble it, you travel, you throw away the boxes. I don't want to deal with it. Just tell me when everything's done. So essentially you realize that time is better than money. And then the other thing is, again, relationships are better than short-term profit. Speaking of the interior designer, right? We made some adjustments. The work order had to change, some adjustments. I could have said, hey man, there's 2 less lamps than you said. I want my $76 back. Well, who cares? It doesn't matter. You know why? Because now I have something that's reliable that can refer me to people. So he tells me, hey, you know what? I actually have this great exclusive only, like she doesn't accept other people. She does Airbnbs. So if you want to list your place, because I know you moved, you're in Colombia now, you got the office and all that, she will actually take care of your place for you. Like, oh, perfect. I was like, well, how do I find her? She doesn't even take clients. She just manages one of mine personally. She has a lot of big name clients and all that. Like, oh, crap. And it comes down to, I didn't say AirPod Pros, 197 online on Amazon. Why is it 214 here? Unfortunately, what ends up happening is businesses, we tend to try to get the best deal sometimes. I've done the opposite, and I firmly believe that's why I'm here. That's why people work with me. But essentially, the relationships are better than short-term profit. And then from there, the one thing you have to understand is proof of concept is always better. It's always better. And then you outsource, you build a team. So what I mean by that is once you prove that it works, once you've done it one time, two times, three times, so you're past the binary stage, the yes or no phase. Now you're at the quantity phase. Build a team as soon as possible. Number one, it's fun. You work with people you like. It's freaking fun. You wake up, like, what's up? What's going on? But the other thing is you're able to scale faster. In the military, they say 2 is 1, 1 is none. What I mean by that is super simple. You always want to have backups. You always want to have people around you to grow bigger. And if you're doing it on your own, you're going to get burnt out. Let's just be realistic. You're going to get burnt out. You're not going to be able to scale it, and somebody else is going to run right past you. Speaking of scaling, we want to focus on efficiency. So when we talk about efficiency, it's actually super simple, right? The thought process you have to have is this: I don't want to work harder, which is counterintuitive, but don't work harder, work smarter. And my lieutenant in law enforcement, like, dude, get him, relax. It's a marathon, right? And it's not a matter of like not working, but it's like, dude, instead of running, why don't you just like wait for a second, let them get tired, get in your car and go after them? It's like that. I didn't think about that. It's like, I know you weren't thinking, but it's okay. And pat on the shoulder. So it's the same thing with this. With scaling, you want to focus on efficiency. Don't think go, 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 go. It doesn't work. You take a step back, you say, this is working, this is not working, this is what I'm going to double down on. And then from there, what I like to do is I outsource locations. So the reason I say this is because ultimately, remember this. When it comes down to it, do you really want to contact 1,000 businesses? I know I don't. So I pay. I pay people to do this for me. Professionals, train them up, worked with them for years. That's just the way we operate because I'd rather just delegate, have somebody that's an expert on it, do it, and then we go from there. From that point, we always like to have technology to our advantage. It's 2025. If you're not seeing me online, there's a problem. So we take advantage of ads. This is another way that we have autopilot, people coming to us too. But it's so new that when somebody sees a post, they're like, holy crap, I didn't even think about that. And it's decimating everything. Christmas, I'm telling you right now, Christmas was crazy, the amount of people that reached out. So again, I bring up building a team, but let's be realistic. We want to maintain an online presence because if you're able to talk to business owners and like they say, hey, do you have more information? Yeah, go to my website, go to my social media. It's a no-brainer. They don't even go. They just say, you know what? I want to work with you because you're willing to do that. You've taken that extra step to show that you're legitimate and I want to work with you. And then from there, we want to diversify. So this is controversial. So pay attention for a second. You're not going to invest every single dollar back into this business. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to. You'd be dumb to. Why? Because it's still speculative. Let's be realistic. 10 years from now, there's some new crypto or something. Who knows, right? It's kind of like if you invest into check cashing 20 years ago, like literally checks. At this point, you're like, oh, no, this might not be good. But you did get cash flow. So as you start producing more cash flow with this, you have to understand this. Reinvest into other things because you never know. This is just a jumping stone. If you're able to generate 5, 10, 15, 20K a month, at the end of the day, what would that do for you? It would probably pay for a lot more coffees, which is what I like. It's some organic milk. Maybe if you're vegan, is what it is. Or it pays for other investments, your child's ballet fund, your investment fund, whatever. But diversify the profits. So that way you don't get caught blindsided because there could be anything that changes. And who cares? As long as you make cash flow. So I got a question for you guys, right? I have a question for you. Who would rather automate their business? And who would rather see the way that we actually automate your business with you? And I say with you because let's be realistic. If somebody's doing it for you, that's a problem. Because what ends up happening is you got to ask yourself, well, if you're doing it for me, what if I fail? I want you to comment below. Comment passive. And I just want to get nice. And if we get enough comments, we'll break it down. If not, no big deal. Because usually people are like, hey, you know what? Show me how it's done. You either work with us, you copy us, it doesn't even matter because what ends up happening is we'll show you exactly what it looks like, right? So what I'm going to do is actually, you know what? Let me do a share screen. We usually don't show this. It's literally only on sometimes on calls. I'm going to break this down for you, right? Let's see if this pops up, right? Let's make this a little bigger. Boom. Miro, I love like whiteboards, guys, as you can tell, right? So this is super simple. This is what I call the residual scaling system, right? It's a 3-phase approach. Very, very simple, right? And you're going to keep hearing me say simple. And you're like, yeah, you really like that word. It's because it works. So I break these down into three foundations stages. There's the foundation phase, takes about a few days, right? That's usually when you're setting up the business, etc. From there, we call it the autonomy phase, meaning that you're able to run this business on your own very fast. You notice day five. So you're probably thinking like day five, like yes, because if you keep things simple enough, you can run it pretty quickly. At this point, you're going to secure some locations. And then from there, we like to maximize our revenue because let's be realistic, as much as you might want to run this as a nonprofit, we're looking to generate some revenue here. So what this looks like is super simple, step-by-step process. What we do is we build out a one-on-one growth chat, right? Probably should block out the names because these are actual clients, but it is what it is. So we'll break down every single thing, right? And so when that happens, what ends up happening is this: you have a one-on-one growth advisor that's an expert that can break things down for you. But what ends up happening is you're like, hey, you know what? I want to have the foundations. I want to learn a little more. I want to be able to run this business. So you get access to our program. So we give you access, literally breaks down everything you need. Breaks down finding locations, contracts, scaling, running ads, using AI, language learning models, etc. And the reason I say AI, because you get access to our system too. So remember how I said we've done this with about probably like 4,000 plus people. And with that, you're talking about tens of thousands of locations. Well, all of a sudden you realize, well, wait a second. You probably have some data that's not in ChatGPT. It's not in Manus. It's not in whatever. Why? Because it's not available. It's not on articles, which is what these AI systems usually do. So we just said, you know what? Let's just consolidate this information and create our own. So essentially, you will get access to our proprietary system that has the things that we've said, the things that we've done to secure locations. Some of them are, kosher. Some of them are not, guys. But let's be realistic. Show me the money, we'll make it happen. From there, what we do is we're actually going to send you a business starter kit. Everything you need to actually start, your equipment, marketing materials, etc., to actually start signing up your first few locations. You'll see some smiling faces of some business owners over here doing the exact same thing. You'll have your actual first device with you that literally breaks down exactly how it looks like from a customer's perspective. Also, super, super simple. From there, what ends up happening is we have our onboarding call with your growth advisor. We assess exactly where you're at, what you need, local implementation, everything you think of. It's going to be either with a growth advisor or myself personally, because I'll just put it right there. On Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm literally on Zoom with you one-on-one. I don't care. I don't take holidays. This business doesn't stop. We don't stop either. So that's the foundation phase. From there, we go into what I call the autonomy phase. Super simple. This is where you're going to start getting locations, right? About 5 days in, you can start doing this, but we're going to have a location implementation assessment. It sounds crazy, but it's super simple. One-on-one Zoom call, break down your area, your zip code, what are the best locations, what you need to do, what you need to do to talk to merch, every single thing that you can think of. And we answer the questions you have because let's be realistic, a week from now, a month from now, 2 weeks from now, you're going to have more questions than you do right now. You probably just can't even think of them yet. So you access your revenue monitoring dashboard. Super simple. What this looks like is it has all the businesses you have signed up, people that you need to work with, etc., to get this up and running. So you start seeing all the businesses, how much they're doing, processing, all that good stuff. Then from there, what we do is we actually find your location. We find it. So super cool. What we do is we actually will set up. So basically, the way you want to think about this is actually super simple, right? So we will actually contact business in your area. We have multiple call centers, teams, but essentially we'll get your zip code, we'll get your time available, time you're not available, all that good stuff, because let's be realistic, you're a busy person. After that, what ends up happening is you are able to get on a one-on-one call with us. We break everything down. We'll contact businesses. We'll screen them. We'll double screen them. We'll triple screen them. We'll quadruple screen them. We'll make sure they're interested. We'll get you a detailed report on that business itself, and we'll schedule a time that works for you, whether it's Saturday at 4 p.m., Monday at 11 a.m. It doesn't matter. We have the widest variety of clients, right? Judges, police officers, business owners. Trust me, nothing's going to turn us and get us confused. From there, we have a one-on-one call with you again. And here's the reason why. We want to break down exactly what it looks like, right? So what ends up happening is we'll go over your game plan. We'll break down exactly what you need to do to secure the location, etc., and for you to actually sign up the location. I like to call this the one deal away one-on-one strategy. And what I mean by that is you're literally just one deal away from your desired outcome. Let's be realistic. You're one deal away from getting the extra 200, 600,000, whatever a month. So you're probably wondering, like, get them, I got my location. I'm happy, right? No, you're not going to be happy. All right. And here's the reason why. Number one, we got to scale. We got to build this bad boy up. And if you're in business, you love the word scale. It's fun. We're talking about revenue here. So what we do is we build out your brand for you, build out a website, make sure this is up and running. So that way you can start getting locations to reach out to you. We end up getting leads on autopilot. And how do we do that? Super simple. We'll help you run ads. So you actually have people reaching out to you. Here's an example. This business owner is like, hey, I'm in Fort Smith, Arkansas, making about 240K a month. I'm looking to sign up for this right now. I'm not using anything for crypto payments. So you start having businesses reach out to you and you're like, holy crap, I don't even need to talk to anybody anymore. From there, we have continual updates. We call them clinics. Here's the reason why. What ends up happening is a week from now, 6 months from now, 4 months from now, you don't want to talk to get them. You just want to get information to keep scaling your business. It's like a new TV episode, right? If you're watching Days of Our Lives, if you ever watched that show. So I'm not confirming or denying that I ever watched that show, but essentially you have something like this where you have continual updates. We break down industry topics, different strategies, different technology, anything you think of, whether it's Sora and running AI ads or anything you need to scale your business on a weekly basis. And some in person, they're going to start in Colombia, which haven't announced, but you learned live. So we start talking about revenue, and revenue is this, guys. We want to hit the highest number we can, not get rich quick, but let's be realistic. Let's increase margins or decrease margins, and let's increase our revenue. So this is how we do it. You get access to what we call our skeleton location network, right? So we will actually reach out to you like, hey man, we actually had like 2, 3, 4, 6 merchants that reached out. Can you please reach out? Somebody's in here, I saw her commenting also, but essentially she's like, hey, I reached out to those 5 people you sent me the other day. One of them responded, they're ready to rock. I'm going to sign them up. So eventually what ends up happening is people see our posts, just like I mentioned, and we need people that are qualified in the area to sign them up. So we'll say, hey, Kenny, we'll say, hey, Yubasela, Mr. Baseball OBX, we need somebody in this area to sign this person up, and we send them to you continually. So you'll start seeing all these different businesses, and we'll say, hey, just please reach out to them, sign them up, and send us a smiling photo when you do. So we have that, and then we start to cross-sell. So these businesses reach out to, it's actually super simple. What ends up happening is this. They say, hey, you know what? You do crypto, but do you do like normal payments? And we had this problem. We're like, oh crap, we don't, because we had to pass it to this person. And all these guys were making additional revenue from us. So instead we said, you know what? We're going to take everything in-house. We're going to do all in one, meaning that we're the first ones that will say, hey, you know what? We're going to do the crypto and the traditional payment side independently, not some big company that you can take advantage of, because speed, guys, speed. So you see these bags under my eyes, it's probably for a reason, because again, it's 6:14 a.m. in Dubai, and I'm still on Zoom with you screaming at this point. So we do not sleep. The rule of thumb I say is this: every single day is a working day somewhere in the world, and every single hour is daytime somewhere in the world. And that's how we operate. We have an office in Colombia we just launched. We're based, we have some people in the Middle East. We have some clients and team members in Europe. Like, you're literally not gonna be able to stump us hours-wise. So what we wanna do is be able to scale this as soon as possible with you. So my question is this, guys, right? Obviously, we showed you the business. Process is literally the same model that we used for thousands of people, guys. It's super, super simple. We've used it for thousands of people. It's the same model that's helped me, along other businesses, quit my police career. It's the same model that thousands of new businesses will be built with starting in 2026, let alone the people already that started at the end of 2025. But here's the thing. If you're on the fence, it's okay. It's totally okay. I'm telling you right now, like, we're going to be around. We're going to be scaling. You're going to remember, like, man, I saw this dude. He was in Dubai. It was 2025. We're going to be scaling. You can wait until 2026. It is what it is. There's no problem. But you're going to start seeing that there's more success. There's more, quote unquote, what we call proof. This will be around. There's no rush whatsoever. It just comes down to this. Do you think it will be the exact same opportunity as it is now as it'll be a year from now? And it's kind of like we talked about Amazon businesses back about like 15 years ago. And I was like, dude, this thing's gonna get saturated. You fast forward to 2025, probably not the best time to start one unless you have a specific strategy. So if you are in the point where, like, you know what, I don't want to get ahead, here's what we got for you. A little something special, right? Just because at the end of the day, I like to work with people that are serious, because you end up being more successful. So we're gonna have 4 call slots tonight. I literally have my team. I was like, hey guys, don't sleep. I don't care. Drink a Red Bull, make it happen. This call today will literally save you $4,500. Wait, it's like January. Things are changing. There's so many people that are enrolled that we just can't offer the same thing. It just doesn't work. Like, we're buying a lot of these. This is like 70 grand just to get started with a few of these. So essentially, we're able to give you the exact same process, the exact same success, Plus, you're able to take advantage of a tax write-off, which is literally only applicable for the next 48 hours. So literally, you're investing into yourself versus, the local school initiative or the park for homeless people, whatever it is. Plus, you can get a free done for you location, meaning that we're going to find a location for you just because I'm like, you know what? Let's just start the year off with a bang. So, who would actually like to start their business off before 2025? Right? This is what I got from you. I'm going to actually post a link in the chat. It's going to be available. I'm going to show you a screen share right now, too. I'm going to pull this up because I didn't even have this ready. That's how busy we've been. So, I'm going to put this link in the Zoom chat so you can actually schedule a call right now. It's going to be only tonight only, guys, but I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right. It's literally this. Here's the link. Pop it open. I don't know if it's even going to pop up with time available. Here we go. Yeah. And just so you guys know, I'm on the wrong time zone. So I'm going to switch it to US Eastern time, literally. So you know, this is real. It's Eastern time in the US, which is where we usually operate off of. And there's going to be 4 slots. Yeah, exactly 4 slots. 9:30, which is about 12 minutes, 30 minutes after that, etc. What you can do is click the link below and actually take advantage of one of these slots. And just so you know what's going to happen, it's 30 minutes. We don't even allow the hour anymore. I broke down most of it. You're going to have some questions. You're probably going to have like some specific situational things that you're probably thinking of. And you're like, hey, what about this? What about that? Does this make sense, etc. Who knows, right? You should have some customized issues, concerns, whatever. I would, at least, especially online. And then from there, if you're interested, one of my consultants will give you an opportunity to take advantage of like literally that stack of things. But if not, here's the thing. You're going to have the right information. It's going to break down exactly what you need to do to be successful. They should be able to send you a cheat sheet also. If you guys commented also, they'll be able to do that. And you have a game plan. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we just want clarity. Let's be realistic. You just want clarity in business, because if you have the right clarity, you're able to take advantage and really scale it. And I'm really big on making things so stupid simple. And here's the reason why. What I found is this: when it comes down to it, if you have the right information, you'll be successful. Most people just can't provide you with the right information because they either lack the experience, they lack the integrity. That's fucking coming from law enforcement. I'm telling you right now, I can tell you some stories where like, wow. And the spouse or the other person will come back like, hey, why are the cops here? I'm like, we can't say anything. It's confidential. But you're like, wow, lying to their face. So there's the integrity aspect. And the other thing is like the vision. When it comes down to it, there's a saying I heard, and it's really good. It says this. It's like, you invest into founders. So nobody believed we're going to go to space. Let's be realistic and park that same shuttle back at the same spot. It was conceived impossible. But what happened was this. You have some crazy dude that's like, you know what? I'm going to get reusable rockets. And everyone called them stupid, but then they made it happen. There was a few explosions along the way that made it happen. So then when they say they're going to do the next thing, they're going to have electrical vehicles. They're going to build this flamethrower. They're going to make these tunnels for Teslas underground. You're like, it sounds crazy, but dang, man. If that person's helped thousands of people start other businesses, they've done this, they do this, like maybe it might work. And so what ends up happening, just so you guys know, a lot of the business is repeat business for me. And the reason why is because at a certain point, you're like, dude, I remember I had this one issue, because you will have issues. I'm telling you right now, I remember this time that I had this issue and it's 11:45 p.m. on a Saturday. You're literally smoking a cigar and you're like, hey, let's figure this out on Zoom. And you're like, are you in a cigar bar? Like, yeah, look, I'm right here. I'm live. And it's like, but you could have just talked to me on Monday. I'm like, why? What's going to happen between Saturday and Monday? More problems. Fuck it, let's fix this thing right now. Like, man, okay. And it changes the mindset. And then it becomes lifelong relationships. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I don't know if there's any other spots. I just want to make sure we didn't block this off. So it looks like we have probably, I think, 3 more. Oh, you know what? I keep doing the wrong time zone. Cool. So what ended up happening was like talking to somebody who was going to get started. And the last time we spoke was like 2 or 3 years ago, right? Hey, what the heck? And they're like, yeah, it's been a while. I was like, yeah, what's going on? How's that other business doing? They're like, really good. That's why I'm talking to you. I saw you on a post. I'm like, I know that dude. He helped me in 2022. I'm like, yeah, that's me. It's like, hey, what's this new thing? Like, we got this and that and this. It's like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, we traded that for this. Like, whoa, how do I get started? I was like, this is how you do it. And they're going to be successful again. So it's the exact same thing in business. What ends up happening is, let's be realistic. You work with the same people, you start scaling. It's like that interior designer I mentioned, and I'm gonna keep working with them. He doesn't know it, but when I buy another place, I'm gonna say, "Hey man, I got this new place. It's 3 times the size. Do you know anybody?" He's like, "Well, I can do it." I'm like, "I know you can. Let's get this thing going." And that's how we operate in business, guys. All right. So what I want to do is this, guys. I want to actually break down some questions you guys might have. So let's do this. Have a quick Q&A session. What questions have come up? Right? What questions are like, hey man, I have some questions on this specifically, right? So let's do this. Boom, boom, boom. What questions have come up regarding this business? Just because I want to make sure you guys get taken advantage of, right? And I saw some comments below. Yolanda, John Karboski will send you some messages after. Miss Local herself, KWMS, passive, Kenny, etc. What questions have come up regarding this business? Because I just want to break it down for you guys specifically, right? So let's do this. You guys can comment it down below and I'll pop open your guys' comments on the actual screen too. Oh, this is a really good question. Let's see if this shows. Do you make money only on crypto payments or all credit card payments? You'll make it on both actually. So you make it's literally two businesses. I don't really go over this as much, but you will actually make money on both specifically for this business, right? What are we looking at for the initial buy-in, then how much per unit? Super simple. So typically to start the business in general, you're looking at a few $1,000s to get started. For us, we literally have customized packages, right? And they unfortunately changed in January just because, man, it's been crazy. If you've followed us on social media, you realize it's exploded and things are changing very quickly. But we'll customize it literally from like the 4 figures range up to sometimes high 5 figures because we've had specific investors. So like, hey, I want you to do this. I want you to do this for me. So what ends up happening is we will actually do that also for you, but usually you're looking at like 4 to 5 figures. I'm losing a lot of these comments. I'm going to scroll up just so I can get these for you. What are we talking about? Initial investments. So we have that. What else do we have? Is there a, hold on, this is not loading. Is there a way to get started the business without having to pay up front? Yeah, you just start on your own. Ultimately, that's why I give you the business basics. Just partner with a processor. Obviously, you're going to find some locations. That's going to take a little more time, just to be frank, because the locations aspect, it's easier, when you jumpstart it, but that's something you can 100% do if you want to. That's what I mentioned at the beginning of the training. And then we have this. Yolanda, same thing. A few thousand to get started. That's why I actually put this link below. I forgot to post it. But essentially, if you guys have more questions, literally you can just lock in a time real quick, hop on, answer some questions on Zoom. They'll break everything down for you and go from there. So I just posted that link in there too. It's this one right here. Should open up in a new tab. And then from there, you're able to. And so I know last week, a lot of people are having questions about that. How much to get started? Again, Rick Miller 3383. We're looking at usually a few $1,000s. What's the white glove service cost? What are the monthly fees? So white glove, usually like the terminology, usually in business, you're mentioning like everything done for you. It's very rare that I see that. Most people will have us find locations, secure most of it, help you build the foundations, run ads, things like that. So you're looking at like high 4 figures, like low 5 figures for that, depending on how many locations you want, because we can literally guarantee you as many you want. And then depending on your area too, because if you're in like Antarctica, so we're gonna have a different process than we are gonna have like New York, San Francisco, or like Ohio. But essentially, those are the basics there. Okay. And then from there, here's another one, Alejandro Fumero. I'm obviously not familiar with the full business model, but so far it sounds to me like I would be more of a salesperson or a business that are owning the clients that I sign up. That's right. Incorrect. That's actually a really common question too. I'm going to save this, but essentially the way you want to think about this is it's your clients, your business, right? We actually let you license the system. So essentially think about it like this. Great analogy. One of my team members brought up the other day. It's like McDonald's versus opening a burger spot, right? So we have a residual scaling system that you actually get to license. And then we also have, if you're just going to start a burger joint, you just figure it out. You're like, hey, I'm going to get a grill. I'm going to put some beef patties and I'm just going to try to figure out what people want. Or I'm going to get the systems and processes that will actually work, that are proven, and I'm going to build a brand, right? I'm going to take advantage of that. So we do the latter where we said, hey, you know what? We've done this so successfully for so long. Let's literally just create a dumbed down process you can follow that you for sure be successful with. So that's what we do. You build that out. And if you want to be frank, you just undercut us because let's be realistic. You sign up 10 businesses. I don't know who Jeff is. I don't know who Chris is. That's your business. So you can do whatever you want in the future. So it's a risk where you take, but it makes sense and it's worked out over the course of the last few years. So for Diane, already done locations, how much is that price range? So obviously we have different packages, like I mentioned. We usually scale it so you can start from one location all the way up to 7 to 10, depending. But usually people just upgrade on the back end. So to be very clear, we customize it. I'm just being very clear. We customize it. This isn't like a sales tactic. It doesn't matter. Literally, January 1st starts. We're just gonna keep going. Our calendars are completely filled, right? So to be absolutely clear, and just so you know, I want to make sure you guys know I'm not BSing you, all right? I'm going to show you a different calendar link. So if you go to our websites, or if you go to my IG, you'll see a bio link and it'll say, hey, do you want to book a call? I'm literally going to pull up the link to our other calendar link that extends out. But obviously this is something special because you're watching this live and I want to make sure you get taken care of. I'm going to pull up a random link right now. So we're going to pull up, where's it at? Where's this thing at? So I'm going to extend my screen. I'm on like multiple screens, guys. So and it's literally 6:30 a.m. My voice is like, and I'm in the desert. I have to take like an IV tomorrow. That's how crazy it is, right? So I'm going to show you another link right over here. And so you'll see, well, I'm in Dubai time. So I'm going to switch back to US time right over here. And here's it at. So you'll see we have one for 11 p.m. That's an override. Tomorrow we have 2 slots, 3 to 5 p.m. And then on the 1st, we have about like 6 slots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so total of like 13 slots in the next like 3 days. So that should tell you that's why we opened this up to be special availability. Because I'm telling you right now, like this is literally just an opportunity that people will take advantage of if it makes sense to them. If not, it's not a big deal. There's no problem whatsoever. I've had people that have followed me for 4 years. And they're like, hey, dude, I literally finally retired out of law enforcement. I Googled you. I looked up your social security number. I'm like, how'd you get my social? You freaking creeper. And he's like, I'm ready to rock now. I'm like, all right, I'm not going to call your department because we're cool, man. But it takes whatever time it takes for you. No big deal whatsoever. So we have that. Just drop. No, that's my comment link right there. Wait, so Recovery Expert USA. What's a few thousand if you have a 4,500 off right now? So it's 2 or 10K. Oh, so just to be clear, so prices are going up like dramatically January 1st, like dramatically. It's to account for, obviously, we just literally spent a few $100,000 on a new office where you guys can fly into. So if you guys have a reason to go to Medellin, Colombia, make sure you tell the spouse, but you can come in, meet us in person, etc. We have call centers, all that good stuff. And then from there, we're adding in new cool things. I just told you about a little technology that we're working on, some partnerships, some NDAs, all that good stuff. And then from there, I got something cool launching. I can't mention it yet because I'm still in the operational phase of like coordinating logistics, but you're gonna get grandfathered in. You'll get grandfathered in on something pretty cool, right? And so from there, you see this, which are the terminals. So we go from there specifically. How much are the terminals? Again, it's a so we do that. So we got that. What else do we have here? Pull up some switch accounts. Are you vested from your first location? Vested is not a term we use. So I'm thinking when you say vested, that's usually like a retirement term. So I've never seen that before. Let me see this. Vested. Can you repeat that question? I don't see that. Okay. So yeah, I don't see that specifically vested. If you just like repeat what that question is, will we always go through your will we always have to go through your processing company? Is that where your profit share comes in? Yeah, so we have, because we're a software company, right? So on both sides, you're going to want to go through us. I'll put it that way. You're going to see what I'm talking about once you do that. But you can always sign up for whatever processing company you want because ultimately we're going to give you a system to be successful with. And if you want to undercut us, like I mentioned, you can, because there's no contract in the sense of like, hey, you're required to work with us. But that just doesn't happen. Over the last few years, it's never happened. Initial splits. So you will keep all profit on the fee. So you get to set it to what you want. So again, I went over this on a mastermind call earlier today. It was about like an hour and 15 minutes. But essentially, and just so you know what I'm talking about, it was an hour and 15 minutes. It was right before this too. That's why I'm a little parched, to say the least. But essentially, what ends up happening is this. So we had a show you the share screen. Sorry. So we actually literally had a breakdown. So you'll see this also literally with our team or with our clients also breaking it down. And then obviously they had a Q&A at the end. Let's see if this pops up. Oh, it's not showing. But essentially, we will show you literally what you need to do consistently. You'll see this is like an hour and 30 minutes or hour and 15 minutes. But essentially, what you're able to do is use our system and build it up, scale it as much as you want, go to any country you want and use it also because it works in multiple countries. That's why we're expanding to Colombia in South America. And then from there, take advantage of what you want and scale it up. But the first step is usually just getting your foot through the door. What ends up happening is this: we get into like this analysis paralysis mentality. And so essentially what ends up happening is you say, oh, you know what? Instead of me thinking about it or doing it, I'm just gonna like have all these questions, which is okay. But ultimately, that's also why we have a call available. So you literally can ask whatever question you have. And you say, cool, this makes sense, or it doesn't. Really doesn't matter, because you need the information to make an informed decision on your own. It's not going to come from me. It's not going to come from my team member. You need to say, all right, cool. I have this, I have this, I have this. Yes or absolutely no. It doesn't matter, but you need the information first. All right. Unfamiliar merchant processing. Can you sign up other processors to sell as an ISO? Yes. I'm assuming the question is, does it have to be one ISO? No, it doesn't. I'm big on simplicity. We're adding in a few things like buy now, pay later, like Klarna, which doesn't exist yet. So it makes very sexy. And then we're working with obviously tech companies to add in software to specific equipment that's branded. That's why you see we have like pretty cool different devices. So answer is yes, you can. But as we expand, you get grandfathered in. So somebody that enrolled with us 3 months ago, they literally got access to all the new stuff we launched in December. And they're like, whoa, it's free? I'm like, yeah, because ultimately you started with us and your testimonial alone will show that you're real and that we're a real company 6 months down the road, a year, etc. What in the world? I don't understand that question right there. Um, Meaning, do you get paid forever on locations as they are processing it with? Yes. That's a really good question. Thanks for asking that. Yes, it's lifetime. Sometimes I forget some of the stuff because there's a lot of stuff that usually goes on. But yes, you have lifetime specifically, right? So I think that's most of the questions. So for those last slots, I don't know if there's even any more left. I don't want to keep saying you can schedule one if there's nothing. So let's just take one last look. Again, I'm in Dubai, pull this up specifically, go to Eastern time. And then we have one more slot. Yeah, sorry guys. I thought we had way more, but we only had a few team members available tonight. So if you do want to take this last slot, you can take it. It's gonna be a 30-minute call. What ends up happening is they'll probably go over like a PowerPoint with you too, go over your questions. You're gonna have like 10 more questions. Let's just be realistic. Just be blunt. You're gonna have 10 more questions. They'll go over that, go over different options, customize something for you that makes sense. And if it makes sense, awesome. Super excited to work with you. You get advantage of obviously a few different things, right? But if it doesn't, guess what happens? This happens all the time. Literally a month later, 2 months later, get them, man. I saw you on a training, or I messaged you on Twitter, I messaged you on LinkedIn, and you probably don't remember me. I'm like, yeah, I remember you, because your username was so unique. Of like, what the heck's going on over here? Those are some really good questions. But what ends up happening is you decide, cool, makes sense now. Maybe finances are in order. Maybe there's a question of this or a question of that. Maybe something like we just couldn't answer. Like, hey, I need to think through this on my own, pray over it, whatever it is. But essentially what ends up happening is this: we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep expanding our brand. I'm super excited to see the new people that work with us. You guys will see this. We have a lot of welcome photos that are taken, and you start seeing these photos. You're like, oh crap, dude, that looks like me. Or that's a police officer. Or hey, that guy's a business owner. Or that guy has a dispensary. And like, holy crap. And you start seeing the different faces of success. Then you realize that you're going to be that next face of success. So if you're saying, hey, you know what? I want to be that next face of success. I just need more questions answered. No problem. You can reserve the last slots. Let me just make sure it's not taken before I say this. With one of our team members, they'll chat with you in about, I think it's like 20 minutes from now. So I don't even know my time zone right now. Let's go to Pacific time. It should be 8 p.m. Yeah, so I think mine's off. Yeah. So you'll be able to chat with one of the last slots with them right now, break it down. They'll break down the business, they'll break down what it looks like for you. And then if it makes sense, awesome, guys. But with that being said, one of the next calls available, I just dropped the link below, and the link expires after this YouTube. So you have to click on it right now. It'll open up a new tab. Jim Love, get paid forever. Awesome, guys. So that's gonna be it for today, guys. I have to get some sleep. Like, we're dying here, and I'm back at it in about 3 hours and 27 minutes. So again, guys, this is going to be, again, like one of the probably best years, literally the end of the year. I'm super excited. I'm in Dubai. I'm looking at Burj Khalifa right now. It's gonna be a great opportunity for you. Whether you decide to work with us or not a big deal, because either way, you've seen this opportunity before the competition. And mark my words, in 2026, you're gonna see some saturation. You're gonna see like, holy crap, all these guys are talking about crypto payments, but I spoke to that guy. I remember. And don't be that person that misses out. That's it. Don't be the person that misses out on the actual opportunity. That's it. I always look at it because I've had a lot of those times in my past. Man, and I look back, I'm like, oh, I can't believe I sold that. Why did I do this? And luckily, crypto just wasn't one of those things. Made a lot of money off of that and some investment properties, and this, and businesses, whatever. But I look back, I'm like, all right, I wouldn't appreciate this if I didn't have all those bad situations in the past. So if you're ready for this not to be a bad situation where you actually take advantage, awesome. I'm super excited, looking forward to you. And I want to look forward to you actually getting your questions answered. So what I am going to do, because I got a little coffee left. That's what I'm going to do. For the next person, oh man, my marketing manager should be like, what the heck? For the next person, all right, who decides I'm going to take this last call, I will personally hop on for about like 2 to 3 minutes because I'm dying, guys. I might be in pajamas when I get on with you, and I sleep in business attire. That's how much we breathe, we die, we eat, we sleep, we get down. So I'll hop on for about like 2 to 3 minutes just to answer some questions too, show some face. You see I'm a real person. I'll be on Zoom too. It's not one way, so I can see you too. But you got to click that link below and you're able to book a call. It's the only time I literally don't jump on calls. I mean, I wouldn't even have enough time to shave if that was the case, because we have a lot of cool things happening. Yeah, it'd be cool. So the next person who decides to take that last slot, I will jump on for about 2 to 3 minutes. I never do the one-on-one calls. I had a mastermind for an hour and a half before this. We're doing some marketing meetings. We have some ads we're going to record, just in a partnership, drop a few $100K on this, got a call center, got some ads teams. We build out your websites. Like, it's crazy. It's going like, my eyes are crazy. But I'll hop on for the next 2 to 3 minutes. And what's this? That guy, LOL. Yeah, guys. You guys, I'm telling you right now, literally, the sun is coming up. The sun is coming up, guys. This is like legit. The sun is coming up. So you know I'm not lying. I'm just like out of it. But I'm like, whatever. I got the coffee. I'm gonna go for a walk in Dubai. Life is good. Walk by the river. I got a new police dog that I just bought. I didn't tell my landlord in Colombia. I got this high-end spot, but I got a new police dog that we're gonna practice biting people. So it's gonna be a good year, guys. 2026. If any of you guys are in Europe, if you want to meet me in the Netherlands, I have an awesome police training facility, military. They train like special operation dogs. I'm going to fly out there to pick up my dog. She's 10 months old. If you want to meet out there, let me know. One of our clients is. She'll probably let me know. Put on a little bite suit, get a few little bites on the armpit. It's not too bad. You'll have some fun, guys. And then along the way, we'll make some money too. But until then, guys, I think the last booking just got taken. Maybe not. But we'll catch you guys on the next training. Take care.